Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Too Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress Amber Afzali with me. So welcome, Amber.
Hello, nice to meet you, Michael. Super happy.
I feel pretty good about that one.
That was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
I've been practicing your name offline. So,
Perfect. Like
yeah.
I think you hit that beautifully. So
It
don't
was
even.
one of those that we needed to jump in before in my head it got mixed up.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. I loved it. I loved it.
I told you offline. I thought the way I was pronouncing it sounded pretty good, but the way it's actually pronounced, very pretty.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Well,
Well,
you
so
said
let's.
it perfectly. Appreciate
What?
it.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's start this way, Amber, because we've got a lot to talk about, and we have to get into rule breakers. But before that, tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. That's you're fairly new to it, but that's such a tough profession. Why'd you want to go into the entertainment business?
Well, when I was younger, I actually did a couple of acting classes. My parents kind of
Yeah.
threw me into acting along with my sister because I was extremely shy, and my sister was over the top, beautiful, dramatic, loved, like she loved center of attention.
So she
And
was the opposite.
yeah, we were the exact opposite. I, in fact, would ask my sister to ask questions for me in public. So if we were, for example, at a restaurant, I'd be like, I need a fork. And my sister would be like, she needs a fork. Like, so I was very shy and my parents wanted to break me out of it. So they threw me into acting classes.
That's actually pretty smart. That's a good way to get a shy child because a lot of actors are introverts or shy.
No, God bless my parents. They're so smart in their parenting styles. It didn't feel like forced. It felt like an exciting new activity that I was doing. Because even though I was shy, I still wanted to try new things.
Right.
Just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you don't.
That's right.
So they put me in acting classes, and I remember going to class one day, and this was a couple weeks after I'd been doing the acting classes. And I love this story because it sparked my interest in acting. I did
Yeah.
a scene. We all prepped our scenes. We all went around and did our scenes. And I went up, and it's a small classroom. And I went up and I did my scene. And I was so proud of myself and I felt so in it. And then afterwards, our teacher gave us awards at the end of it. Or she would pick one student to give an award to. And then that week I got the award, and it was like a little teddy bear statue. And I was so happy, and I dated the bottom of it, and I went to my mom, and I'm a faker. I'm like, I did so bad in class today. She didn't. And then I was like, just kidding. Here you go. Here's my prize. Like, it's for you. And I felt so happy and proud in that moment because I
Does she
felt
still have the bear?
she does. She does have it. Um,
Okay.
and I mean, I hope I'll find it somewhere. It's somewhere in her room. I'll have to look for it. But she was so proud of me. And more than that, I just felt like for once I felt really in it. Like I just felt
Yeah.
in it. I couldn't explain it. I felt like that's where it connected. It just clicked. But then I really, really wanted to go to a top-notch university, and I was very academic, and I timing wise, it was hard to fit acting along with school. That's why so many young actors, child actors end up being homeschooled. But we
Sure.
just couldn't fit it in my workload. So I ended up doing the academic route, went to university, loved it. Pandemic hits. I'm back in California.
Yep.
And I was like,
It was like a ghost town back then too.
it,
I
it
was out there a
was.
few times.
It was crazy. And I was like, you know what? I could just do some acting like at home. Like I started looking into it and looking into like what I would need and what I could do to get into acting at the tail end of the pandemic. Then I joined another class and I was like, it's still there. That fire is still there. I still love it. I'm still really interested. And I feel like I have a better understanding now that I'm older of human psychology. And so that just, it just clicked again. It just felt like, okay, this is what I'm
And
supposed to.
that's not a terrible, if you're going to get a degree, that's not a terrible thing to have for acting.
Yeah.
Psychology that can come in handy.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did political science and psychology, and I found my psych degree to come handy a lot. It became something that really helped me understand characters and human behavior and why the motives and why people act the way that they do. So that was really, it was really, really a good time to take up acting again in my life. I loved it, did the acting class, and things just took off from there. Like I felt so passionate about it, and it happened so fast with getting my manager and getting this project that I just felt like the stars aligned and I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Well, yeah, it sounds like that's where you're supposed to be. That's why it moves so quickly.
I firmly believe that. I think when something comes easily, when something comes smoothly, that there's, and of course, like even when something is difficult, like there is a certain thing to be said about that. You do learn a lot. But sometimes in the beginning, when something comes so easily, it just feels like I'm on the right track. Like
That's
the
right. This is my
world
this
is
is my place.
inspiring. Help me
Yeah.
get to where I need to be. So it's nice.
Well, it's so nice once you get there because you're doing something that you're passionate about, and that's not easy to find, career wise.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think going to a university where a lot of my friends would do the practical job too, a lot of people ended up taking the practical job. And I mean, they're loving their lives and living very comfortably, but to go and take a risk to stray away from what my degree taught me and going into acting was scary and daunting, but I think I'm a lot happier and better off for it.
Yeah, no, it makes a complete sense. And there's no real downside because you've got the degrees. So if you had to make a switch, you could probably do that.
Yeah, I can. So I'm glad my parents had me pushed education on me when I was younger. And theme of this movie, education, but pushed education on me growing up because now I do feel like I'm in a good place where I'm not scared to take risks in acting and scared to be more in it and pursuing this career because I know that I have options.
Yeah,
Like,
that's exciting.
yeah.
That's exciting because when you're first starting out, you the nerves, I would assume, until you land that first big role have to be pretty because you're just so anxious. Is this really what I'm supposed to do if nobody is giving me any work? And then you get that first kind of big role. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and I always say the industry is not like the most like reassuring. It's not
Right.
going to coddle you. It's not going to tell you you did a great job and the next thing is going to come. You just kind of like throw in what you give it your all. You're giving your best performance. You're giving a piece of you and you're hoping that it reciprocates and it reads well. And you can never know.
You never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know. I know that's the risk.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's talk a little bit about Rule Breakers because it sounds amazing. Um, movie, right? And it's going to, I believe you're going to it's taking the festival route first.
It's going, well, we're doing a couple of different screenings and we're going to have a premiere in Hollywood.
Oh,
And so
good.
screenings at like universities and such. But primarily it's going to be a theatrical release, actually.
Oh, that's actually really
Right?
exciting.
Isn't that
Yeah, yeah.
exciting?
And it's coming out like in March, right?
It'll be out in March, yes.
Yeah,
March 7th.
that's coming fast.
I know, I know. Things are picking up like crazy.
Where in Hollywood were you doing the premiere?
We did have a location, but I think we switched it over. I think it's going to be at the Harmony Gold Theater.
Oh yeah, I know that one. That's a nice theater.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a big deal. You get to like walk a carpet to get in there, and
From what I know, yeah, it'll be my first premiere, so I'm kind of just
well, let
flying
me
by the
ask you. Let me
yeah.
ask you this: are you going into your closet to find something to wear, or are you having to go outside specifically for this event?
I am looking specifically for something to wear just because this project means so much to me, and no matter what type of premiere it is or what, how it's showcased, I want to feel like I continuing to give it my
Yeah,
all.
I like that. I like that. So okay, so tell me what Rule Breakers is about and what's your role in it.
Yeah, so Rule Breakers is a super family friendly film,
Yeah.
very inspiring,
We need
uplifting.
more of those.
Yeah, in this day and age, we need more.
We
And
need
we
more of the where it's not just geared for the really young, so you've got that kind of middle school age family affair. We need more of those.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. And I think, all age rangers can watch this, and I think
Yeah.
everyone will take something away from it. But it's super uplifting, super inspiring, and it's about this woman's journey. Her name is Roya Mahbub. She
Mhm.
is an Afghan woman from Afghanistan, and she started a all-girls robotics team in Afghanistan.
Well,
And this
explain why that's a big deal. Because robotics teams, we do that here in the States. Just about every school has one. So why is it a big deal there in Afghanistan?
So Afghanistan, I mean, I think a lot of people are familiar with the lack of education for girls,
Yeah.
stifling of education for girls. So in Roya's time, there were not computer classes for girls. There were not computer classes in her high school.
Okay.
She kind of kickstarted computer classes to be brought to her high school. She kickstarted STEM and computer classes to be taught in
So it's
schools.
a true story.
It's a true story. It's
Yeah.
based on a true story. And so she really brought a lot of this tech, a lot of STEM, a lot of education, or like tech-focused
Yeah.
education to schools in a place that did not have that, and did not have that especially for women, for girls. So when she started this all-girls
Wow.
robotics team, it was the first of its kind. It was something done to showcase the power, the intelligence, the strength of girls in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I mean, it broke rules. This was not something that was the norm in Afghanistan. This was not something that a lot of people accepted. Young girls traveling in a group by themselves, with their
Right.
own group, without their families, to other countries and competing. This was not something that was societally accepted. And so it was a pretty big deal. And just the fact that it's an opportunity for girls to showcase their
Yeah.
wit, to showcase how smart they are, to showcase how, creative they can be too,
Yeah.
because robotics is very creative.
Very
So
creative.
this is
Well,
really,
and it's pretty impressive when you consider the fact that they were probably undereducated up to that point.
and they had, like, when we talk about like natural intelligence, there definitely was that. But I think these girls needed it to be fostered. Someone needs to come in and empower them, give them the
Yeah.
tools to use their wit. Because I do think everyone has the ability to accomplish whatever they want, educationally, creatively. They have that within them. I think it just needs to be pulled out. They need to be given tools in order to be um,
Yeah, to
able.
blossom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I love this story because we all see and we have for in my case for decades seen everything that's been going on in Afghanistan, and it's had so many different countries, including the U.S., in there kind of messing around and probably not helping the situation any, and it's heartbreaking. So this type of story so needed, Plus it's I would assume there's people in Afghanistan that don't want people to see this film because it's going to inspire other, young girls to do things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the likelihood that this is shown in
Yeah.
Afghanistan, I think, is slim to none. But I do think that it is making a big statement that girls are powerful, girls are smart, and girls need to be included in society, which is unfortunately not what Afghanistan, the current leadership in Afghanistan is aligned with. They're not
Yeah.
thinking, they're
I
not
know.
thinking.
I know. It's just a terrible. And I'm actually really surprised that they allowed these young women to travel because they're going to other countries where those restrictions aren't in place in other countries. I'm surprised that
Yeah.
they let them be exposed to that.
And it came down, so the leadership, and some might know this, some might not, but the leadership was different than it is today. There was the
Mhm.
second fall of Kabul, in, I think it
Because
was
there was a brief time there not too long ago where restrictions were lifted for a
they were
little.
listed. Yeah, we had Ashraf Ghani was the president, and we had U.S. military occupations, and the Taliban were still there, but they were a little bit more suppressed.
Yeah.
And I think after the withdrawal, the Taliban have come back to power. I mean, that was basically
Yeah,
the
I know. I know.
vision.
That part especially was heartbreaking to
Yeah.
see because you were watching a whole society, you know, go backwards.
Oh my God, it was absolutely heartbreaking. And there are you know, some who prefer the Taliban's rule. And I just personally think that anyone who is restricting women's education and women's involvement in society,
Yeah.
that is a bit concerning to me. So
Yeah, I agree. You're hamstringing yourself because you're eliminating half your population.
exactly. Why would you?
Yeah.
And look how, I mean, we look at rule breakers, look how capable these women are. So you definitely never want to be in a place where you are limiting the potential of your people. And
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, that's the current situation. But when you look back in 2017, when these girls were traveling, it was a big decision. Mostly because of their families. Their families had to decide
Yeah.
to leave, let them go. And now I think the government has more of a say.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't really thought that through where there was that period there where it was better, I guess, or less restrictive at least.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what's your role in the film?
I play Esin. She is one of the girls on the robotics team, and she is girly in the best way. She has all her rings, she has all her jewelry, she wears a lot of pink, and she is just I think she's a force to be reckoned with. You know, she makes a lot of bold decisions on her own against her family's wishes, and she really finds her voice throughout the script, throughout the film.
Well,
So
and is that unusual with the attire, the rings and everything? Is it got the pictures we see? They're not super flashy.
I know. And I think that there is this, and this is why I'm so grateful for this film to be made. There are so many misconceptions on Afghanistan and the
Yeah,
women there, kind of clothing that they wear. And, um, there was a time way before where women were wearing completely modern clothes, and that was,
right.
we would
Yeah,
consider
I've
modern.
seen pictures of those, and
And then there
it
was
looks like every
looks like every other country.
Western
Yeah,
country that you would see.
every other Western country. So there was a time when that fashion was big and that was a thing and people would be fashionable. And then there was a time when you had different regions dressing differently. So some more modestly, some more Western style, some more with the head coverings and the religious wear. And we keep moving to different parts throughout time, different fashion
Yeah,
styles throughout time. But I think for a lot of young girls, there was some more flexibility, especially given the time that the film takes place. There was a little bit more flexibility in what they could wear, and I mean, they're young girls. At the end of the day, they're like every other girl in the world. They're gonna accessorize. They're gonna
that's
find a
right.
way. Right? They're gonna find a way to make a little bit of a statement with their clothing. And I think that's the beauty of it. We're showcasing a more colorful picture of Afghanistan and a more real sense of what girls are like, whether they're Afghan or whether they're American. We're showing what girls are like, and
I
that's
love that. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're all basically the same.
exactly. And that's something that I think our director, Bill Gutentag, did an amazing job thinking about. And along with the writers, I mean, Alaha, Roya's sister, and Jason and Bill, they really gave thought to how do we make sure that these girls don't come across as being otherworldly.
Right.
News sometimes will portray Afghanistan and the women there as being something totally separate. And it's hard to empathize or connect with a character when you don't see yourself in them. So I think our director and our writers did a fantastic job at showcasing the girls as being just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Like so other girls who come to the theater will look and they can pick out their favorite traits of each girl and they could pick out their favorite outfits from each girl and they can be like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. I want to be like her. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, that really inspired me. They can connect. And so I think it was really nice how they portrayed it.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. And I remember, my stepson was on a robotics team at the same time that my nephew, my brother's son, was on a robotics team, and they would compete against each other. And I just remember the
Oh,
camaraderie between teams. So like their team, my son's team, very connected, close. They had those bonds. But by the end of the competitions, they were always had all these friends from other teams and things, and it was competitive, but like in a positive way.
in it's such a positive way. And when I was younger, I was involved in one of those like big clubs that competed internationally, called
Yeah.
Future Business Leaders of America. That was
Oh
my entire
yeah.
high school experience. And you get that sense. You are competing with someone in one event. You're going to go head to head. You guys are
Right.
going to fight for the trophy, for the top prize, but you're also so similar. You have such similar
Yeah,
passions.
just kids.
You connect on such a big thing that you're just like, we're gonna get along. We're gonna get along. We're like, no matter what, like we're having a great time together. You're like me, I'm like you. Let's hang out. And I think that when we were filming the movie, and we were talking about the robotic scenes and the competitions, there was a huge sense of camaraderie between the other teams, and ourselves. We really all connected in that way. And from what Roya has described, the girls also made a lot of friends on other teams that way too.
Is is there any way of knowing whether any of those actual women have got to see the film or know about the film? How is that working?
I know one has actually seen the film. I was with her when she watched it.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
a very good, cool experience, to get to have her reaction and get to see what she thought of the film. And she had such wonderful things to say, and it was really, really darling to see what she thought. She was on one of the teams, not the original team, but she was on one of the preceding teams from
That's
there.
cool. Yeah, that would make
That
it
was
that
like
would drive it home for me.
yeah, it was really cool. I feel like I was like in the theater and I was just like staring at her the whole time, like, what does she think of that? Does she like that? Like, does that real?
Did you
It was
feel any
cool.
pressure to portray, this woman, these women in a certain way so that you're, kind of paying homage to their heritage, but also, kind of giving the story and the message.
Yeah. I mean, I think for one, we were just trying to be authentic in a lot of ways. I think a lot of us actors, I mean, myself coming from an Afghan background and then other actors also Afghan or Iranian backgrounds,
Yeah.
we have a lot of connections to the region. We have familial connections, our parents are from those regions. So we tried to draw inspiration from that and really just feel authentic in our performances. We had a dialect coach so that we can all kind of work
Okay.
on having a similar dialect throughout the film. And we didn't want it to be so
Well, you
heavy.
you spoke maybe the language ahead of
I
time.
spoke it once. Or the language, yeah, the Dari is my
Yeah.
language. Dari is the language of Afghanistan, one of the languages,
Yeah.
and it's very similar to Farsi or Persian. And I was able to even speak it one line in the film. Like
It's
I
nice.
a little line in there. It was like a little Easter egg thrown in there, but it was really cool because I was like, oh my gosh, like when else am I going to have the opportunity to talk
Yeah.
my own native tongue on screen? So that was really awesome. And so there was a lot. I mean, that helped. Knowing the language helped with the dialect for sure. Knowing what sounds we do have in our language that aren't there in English and what sounds are in English that aren't in our language. But
Right.
we didn't want it to be too heavy, of course, because we wanted to keep that um, relatability. So we wanted
Right.
audience. It's relatable.
Well, yeah,
And
because it's kind of a girl empowerment movie,
exactly,
underneath all of it.
at the end of the day, it's mostly about overcoming obstacles,
Yeah.
using your innate power as a woman and your intelligence and your strength to really persevere and be resilient in tough situations. So I hope girls will watch it and they'll feel Roya's energy and the team's energy course through them and feel inspired to go and follow their dreams
I
and
think they
pursue.
will. I really do, and I think that's true here in the states and abroad as well. I think it's going to do pretty well. I mean, it sounds terrific.
It is a wonderful, wonderful film, and it is something that I think all of us who worked on it were very passionate about. From the minute we got the breakdown, we were
Yeah.
like, oh, "This is amazing."
um, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, is she the coach?
She's one of the like judges
Oh, she's
in
one
one
of
of
the judges. Okay,
yes, she's one of the
well, that's
judges.
kind of a big name to attach to a
She's
project.
oh my God, she's incredible. She is effortlessly funny.
Oh, she's
She
so funny,
oh
hilarious.
my gosh, like I mean, watching her on screen, I'm like, oh my God, she's really funny. Talking to her, you're like, she's just naturally, it's just coming out of her like effortless. Like she's just funny. She's just that's the way that she is. And she's so charismatic and she makes you feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
Even being a big name, she never like threw that around. Like I'm Phoebe
I
Waller-Bridge.
mean,
She
that's
just
pretty nice when you're a newer actress, you know, to be
Yeah.
around somebody that's got a lot of experience that is nice about it, you know.
She was she was amazing. She was incredible. She talked to us. I mean, I even talked to her about I talked to her about video games because I play Tomb Raider and the
Oh,
writer for the
yep.
new Amazon series. So
What'd she think about that?
she was pretty interested in my thoughts on Tomb Raider and what I liked about it. And I didn't know at the time that she was the writer. So
Well, that's
I was
funny.
raving on about it and I was like, no, it's so good. Like it's this. And I feel like maybe she had a mind in the back of her mind, she was thinking like, wow, like younger audiences, they're definitely gonna still connect with Lara Croft. They're gonna connect
Yeah.
with Tomb like they love it.
You know, Tomb Raider when I was growing up was it almost looked like Minecraft. The
I've
graphics were so
played
good.
the earlier versions too. I've played earlier versions of like Resident Evil because I had an old PlayStation and my dad
Yeah.
and I would play that. But I like the old versions, but when you move them, I was like, wow, how did
Yeah.
people do this?
It wasn't easy.
It was not easy. But I think the gameplay overall is a lot easier, right? Like the objective is a lot easier. Now it's like you have like a million side quests and you can do
I
this and
know
you
it's too complicated for me now.
can
I mean, if you want to
But
put
the
me back in
movement,
Atari
movement
days,
is easier. On a game, the movement is easier. You can be like, oh, I want to look at it
well, that's
from
true. Yeah, yeah, everything's much more fluid, but that almost made it harder for me. Now there's too much that I can do.
that. There's too much to focus on. You're
Yeah,
like, it's a
I liked
whole
it
world.
limited.
Yeah.
I
I get
just
that.
think it's funny that that's the graphics that I grew up on, and people love Minecraft, and that's the
Yeah.
same graphics. They've never improved those graphics.
No, no, people like it because there is that simplicity of it is
You know?
it's somewhat like, okay, like I can calmly play this. When I'm playing the current like modern day Tomb Raider video games, I'm panicking. Like it is a panic in my house when I'm playing. I'm like the music starts that something ominous is about to happen, and I'm
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and I'm like slowly moving my character through. But the simplicity of it in the previous versions or on Minecraft and stuff can be very, very soothing and calming.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just
Yeah,
relaxing at that point
yeah.
because you don't have to put a lot of thought into it.
No, no, it's just like you're playing a video
You
game.
know,
Now,
that connection, you never know. That's kind of the part about acting I kind of like is that everybody you meet is like networking. You know,
yeah.
every conversation, every chance meeting, you know, everything. And you
And
never
it's all
she may
effortless.
be writing the next Tomb Raider and be like, I got a little part for Amber in there. I'm gonna give
Oh
her.
my gosh. Like, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, if you're watching this, like, hey, like, let me shoot my shot. But, but no, I mean, it's
Would
all
you
just,
want to be if you were in a video game movie, whatever it was? Would you want to be like the main bad guy or the main hero?
oh, both are good.
I know
Both
they're
are.
both pretty good. Different reasons.
I mean, if it's Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, like Lara
Yeah.
Croft, I'll play Lara Croft all day long. Like I'll be Lara Croft. If it's gosh, I mean, that would be so cool to play a villain too. And
Like
I've thought
if you were playing the Turtles game, Shredder
then
would be a cool person to play. I think.
really cool villain to play. Really,
Yeah.
really cool. And so I would be, I don't know, it would really depend on the role. I would say whatever has a little bit more stunt work or martial arts usage, because I really like martial arts. So
Okay.
I would love to just kind of showcase that a bit and get to use it and see how that is on screen versus
What's your discipline? What kind of martial
I do
arts?
Taekwondo.
Oh yeah, I was kind of figuring that's probably what it was.
And then I've
That's a
done
good
kickboxing.
skill.
Yeah, it's a really awesome martial art to have. Just because I feel like there is so much discipline with it, but there's also once you get better, you can do some more flashy things like tricking and you can work your way
Right.
up.
Well, and it kind of teaches you balance and stability and all that stuff
It's
helps.
tough. I mean, I'm still improving every day. It's tough. There are things that I'm just like, when will I finally get this and feel like I'm solid in this? So I'm always improving.
Well, and you never know. Whenever you started it, you probably started it for a reason. The reason may actually have been so you could use it in stunt work down the road.
That is definitely something that I've thought about now as I've gotten better and as I've been improving. I'm like,
Yeah.
this could really be something that I want to use in stunt work. So coupling that with like, gymnastics and coupling that with kickboxing, just making it
Plus,
interdisciplinary.
you speak several languages. That sounds like somebody I'd want on my movie.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Spread that around, please.
I'll make some calls. I saw that you were recently at Sundance.
I was at Sundance. It was actually Angel Studios invited myself and the girls to come out to Sundance for a little get together party that they were throwing.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went and shot some promotional content for Angel Studios for the Rule Breakers film.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It was awesome. It was my first time at Sundance. It's an incredible.
You know what struck me? I was there in 2020. Like I got home from Sundance, and a week later they shut everything down.
Yeah.
So we just
I was
barely
just
made
thinking,
it.
I was like,
2020, but what surprised me was how small it is. It's not a real big little town.
no. And that shocked me too. It was like a street.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
a
a street.
walk. I really thought like this is a huge area festival.
Yeah.
And I know that there's multiple locations throughout Utah. I know that they have like different
Right.
things.
Yeah, it's not all right there, but the
But
majority is right on that strip.
Park City, just on that strip. And I was like, wow, it's all right here. I could walk up and down in like 15 minutes.
Well, and
It
the
was
other thing that got me was it was so cold, everybody's so bundled up, you can't tell who anybody is.
my friends and I went with Nina and Sarah. And they're on the film too. They play Tara and Hadia. They're
Yep.
lovely, amazing girls. And we were trekking through the snow wearing 3 pairs of socks. And we were so cold. We were so cold, our feet were about to fall off. We
I
went into
know.
a little cafe, and we picked up those like hand warmers, like
Yep.
hand and foot warmers. We threw some in our shoes, we threw them on our hands, and we were like, please. It was cold. It was so cold. And I went to New York shortly after that, and all my friends were like, it's really cold here. Like, you need a bigger jacket. And I was like, I was just in Utah.
That's
Like,
right. You don't know cold.
you don't even know cold. We were in the tens and the degrees, and like
Yeah.
here,
That part I remember. I loved it. I had the best time, but I was so cold the entire time.
next time, hopefully, I'll get to go skiing too and take a longer
Oh, that
time.
would be fun.
Because then it's like, okay, the cold is like I can handle the cold because I'm skiing. That makes sense.
We were at some event and standing next to a group of people, and you couldn't tell. Everybody was so bundled up, you couldn't tell anything about it. But then I saw pictures later, and it was some pretty famous people. And I was like, we were standing right next to them, but just had no idea.
Yeah, though the people who are walking through there, you would never know. You'd never know. And everybody's just so casual. I mean, bundled up, but like casual.
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah, it's
really
not
like
super
flashy
fancy.
or out there. So you're just like, okay, this could be someone famous.
Yeah.
Like I can barely
Did you
tell.
get to go? Did you check anything out? Did you go see any movies?
We were only there for like 2.5 days, so we weren't able to grab a
That's
ticket.
quick. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
watch the movie. But hopefully next time I will be able to. I did get to catch some of the actors who were in certain projects, and
Oh, that's cool.
they're showing me some of their like behind the scenes and some of the prep work that they had done, and they were talking about it. And so that was really nice just to connect with other actors and hear about their experiences on different
I
projects.
think we spent most of our time at like networking parties.
It just happens where you're just like, I kind of want to talk to people. I just want to like hear what other people have to say
Yeah,
and what they're doing and learn from them. And so it just happened that way. We were all excited to meet new people,
that's pretty cool.
especially creatives in the industry. I feel like there's not a ton of opportunities to be able to connect with other people. So it's just nice to hear from them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it gets your name out there, which is kind of
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you're connecting with some people who are just getting their career started, or you're connecting with people who are super established, and both types of people are really, really monumental in your journey
Yeah.
and your
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Is there a genre that you would like to do that you haven't got to do yet?
since we're talking about it, now I'm really into it. I'm thinking like action or
I was
drama.
thinking you're gonna have to do some action. Yeah.
I would love to do some action work.
Superhero would be good. I'd take that.
That'd be good. I know there's an Afghan superhero, Dust, in the X-Men
That's
series. So
right. That's pretty good. You went up
maybe
a little in my eyes now.
Maybe my
I'm a
sister
big
is.
comic book person, so yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay. So my sister is really, really into Marvel. She's really into comic books and superhero characters. So she's the one who's been my
He'll
source of
let you
inspiration.
know.
So I'm
Well,
happy to
I
have.
don't
I'm
think
just
we,
so
I don't
lucky to
think
have her.
we haven't seen Dust yet.
No, no. So I'm like, all right, if they're interested, I'm here. But I think action would be great. I also I'd really love to do a drama, something maybe like a biopic or something that's just where you can learn the mannerisms of someone and
Oh, that'd be
try to
cool.
mimic it and portray it. I always found that really fascinating when actors have to mimic an accent or a certain mouth movement or certain hand gestures. They like watch a person long enough that they start to embody that person. I'd love to do that. I would love to learn
That's
the
kind of
way.
method acting.
Yeah, and I would love to take a stab at it. I think that that would be a huge challenge and would really pull me out of my comfort zone, and it would be something where I'd be all in. Like I'd be very invested into.
Yeah, you have to like immerse yourself in it.
Yeah. And that sounds
I like
incredible.
that.
I think a lot of actors, to them that sounds great because as actors we're always like trying to lose ourselves into the character. And I think when you're playing someone else and you kind of have like a basis to go off of,
Yeah.
you can really be like, okay, that's the way that I'm going to say that, and that's how my mouth moves. And you can focus on the mannerisms rather than some of the other parts of like, how am I going to look? How's that? You know, and like the more vain sort of content. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Well, and Angel Studios, they've got a pretty good track record.
They produced some awesome
Sound of
films.
Freedom did pretty well.
It did do pretty well. It did do pretty well in theaters. I mean, I heard a lot of people talking about it, and I know Cabrini is like one that's also been a big hit for
Oh yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're doing pretty good. They're putting out
They're
some
doing
awesome
pretty good.
content.
And this one, Rule Breakers, I found it here. March 7th is when it's
March 7th, yes. And it'll be in AMC at Regal and like local theaters, Century City. So it'll
that's
be a
so
very
exciting. Yeah, I just I should look closer. I just assumed it'd be hitting festivals and then get released. It's just
and I'm not too familiar with like all the business aspect of that and the behind the scenes work, but the people who are deciding how this film is going to be released are really putting in the work. They're really smart about it and they're making good decisions. And so I'm excited to just continue seeing how they promote the film, how they put it out,
yeah.
what's good going on. I'm excited. I'm just kind of like here. I'm just
You'll
like,
have
let's
to make sure you post some red carpet pictures.
I will. Just I will.
Yeah, because
I'm
that's a big deal.
once I finalize my clothing for the carpet, which is it's next week, so I have a short amount of
Oh
time.
yeah, you gotta get moving.
I gotta get moving. But once I finalize that, I will definitely share some content behind the scenes, some red carpet
Yeah, you
photos.
have to.
It'll be fun. It'll be a
Yeah,
fun experience.
that'd be good. Well, Amber, thank you for taking a little bit of time. This has been terrific. I can't wait to see the movie.
I
My
can't
plan's
wait
to be
to
there
watch
right
it.
around the 7th, so
Yes, please.
we'll take a Too Opinionated podcast group to go see
Yeah,
it.
that would be awesome. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your guys' feedback, and I really hope that you guys are just leaving the theater feeling inspired. Like that would
I
be
think we
great.
will be. There's nothing better than a inspirational feel good movie.
Yeah, that's exact. It's definitely like those feel good. Like you leave the theater like, wow, I can't believe they did all of that.
And we need that. We need some wins right now.
We need some wins. We need
Yeah.
some wins. So
But
I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for having me on your podcast too. I
oh,
really being here.
this has been terrific. A couple little things though before
Yeah, no,
we
please.
go. Anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
Nothing that I can share at the moment, but I'm
Yeah.
always interested in projects that really challenge me, like I talked about. So hopefully you guys will be seeing some of those soon.
Well,
And
you're going to get a call shortly after Phoebe sees this about Tomb Raider.
yeah,
You're gonna call.
no, so Tomb Raider series, yeah, that's actually what you can hope for.
Oh, yeah, that's actually not bad. That's
No,
actually. Have you
so
seen I know you're a gamer, so I ask. Have you seen this Amazon show, Secret something? That it's basically like 10-minute shorts on different video games.
No, I haven't, but I will look
Secret,
at
it's
that. I don't
secret
know.
something. I'm forgetting the second word. It'll come up though if you put it in, but it has like I watched the one that was Pac-Man. It is completely not what you think. It's like an actual person that turns into this Pac-Man thing. It's yeah, Keanu Reeves is in one of them.
That's a cool concept. I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
heard.
pretty good. There's a Dungeon Dragons one, that's but they're all real short.
No, that's great.
I just yeah, you like the gaming, you should check that out. But that would have been a good one. Tomb Raider would have been a fun one
I
too.
know. I know. I mean, but we'll see what's down the line. Right now, I'm just looking at projects that can really challenge me and push me out of my comfort zone and give me some more, um, just more experience in the industry too.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. You just need to get out there now.
I'm excited
It'll be a
to.
lot easier after this film, I think.
I think so, but I mean, I'm just excited to dive right in, like into projects that are continue to be meaningful and exciting. And then I
No.
think right now it's a lot of rule breakers work. Like we are doing a lot
You're
of
right in the middle of it right now.
yeah, and I'm trying to also focus on enjoying this project too to the fullest ability, just because it is my first. That you want to feel like
Well,
when I look
yeah.
back, I want to remember all of it.
Well, that's why I was asking you about the red carpet because I mean that's a big deal.
Yeah,
You should enjoy that.
I'm excited. So it's just kind of like trying to stay present, as present as possible into like what's going on right now. So it's been good.
Yeah,
I'm
I love that. Where can we find you on social media?
on Instagram, just at Amber Afzali, AmberAfzali. And anywhere else, I mean, I'm on everything. It's just like same username on everything, but Instagram's definitely the most active.
That's the friendliest one.
I heard TikTok is actually pretty friendly too in terms of like new creators, you
Well,
know?
it is. Yeah, actually,
Um,
TikTok. And if you're creative, TikTok's really good.
yeah, but we'll see. There's so much like going on with TikTok, like
Do
in
you
terms of
dance at all?
mostly like cultural dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So no TikTok
not
dancing in
like
your
the Charli
future.
D'Amelio, like Addison
Yeah,
Rae. Like, I'm gonna go viral for my dancing.
right.
Do that right now. I
I've always
wish.
had this thought because I'm like the world's worst dancer. Like if I had two left feet, that would be an improvement.
I'm sure it's, oh my God, that's funny. I'm sure it's not that bad.
It's pretty bad. But I always thought, like if I got on TikTok, I could have a million followers, just me attempting the dances. It'd be hilarious.
Attempting the dance challenges.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. It'd be funny until I, did something and ended up hurting myself, which would probably happen.
Oh yeah. And then, but that video would go really
Oh,
viral.
that's the one that would go viral.
That would go viral. The one where you fall and severely injure yourself and cut to the hospital. Oh my God, God forbid. But like that would be the
It
one that
would that would go viral. Well, when it happens, you know where it came from.
I'll be on the lookout. Yeah, when you start dancing, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be waiting. No, I'm not.
You'll
I'm gonna
watch for about
be
2 seconds. You'll be like, he needs to stop.
like, oh, he wasn't kidding when he said he had two
No, I
legs.
feel bad for my wife because she's a dancer. She can dance.
She can teach you.
She has tried. She has tried. It's not been pretty.
Well, there's a dance. I firmly believe there's a dance style for everyone. So you just have to find it. You'll find it.
I'm
I,
pretty
I
good at that middle school sway, where you just kind of step to
uh-huh.
the left, step to the right, and you're just holding on to each other. I can do that one pretty good. Yeah, that's it.
No, I'm familiar. I'm familiar.
Amber, open invitation. Just reach back out. We'll do it again.
No, thank you so much. This has been a great time. You are such a fun host, such fun interviewer, someone who's really easy to talk to. So thank you so much for
Well,
making this
thank
so.
you so much. That was so nice. Okay, hold on 1 second. Amber Afzali, she was terrific. I I can see why they picked her for the role. She's got so much positive energy. I'm sure that translates to the screen. I have no doubt. You can tell that when she decides she's going to do something, she's very focused on it. I have no doubt that she is working her butt off at acting, and she's going to be great. I think we're going to see so much more from her. And what a great first project. It doesn't usually happen that way. So I'm just thrilled to death for Amber. Make sure you keep an eye out for Rule Breakers. It's coming out on March the 7th. stars Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and a lot of young talent. So make sure you check that out, especially if you've got, let's say, robotic team age children, middle school, early high school. You should take them to this movie, women especially. Hope you enjoyed that one. I know I did. If you're finding us for the first time, thrilled to death that you're here. We're so happy that you're here and would love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. We don't ask for too much. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. That's all we ask. It's free, but those subscriptions really help us to keep bringing in these terrific guests. Our website is meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, anything we have going on. Plus, as of today, there's 903 episodes, audio and video versions on the website. So make sure you check us out, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.